We are here for our third, that's right, third championship case. We talked about a couple last week. Of course, they ended up winning again, so they really make it easy to talk about them. But we're going on to the third favorite, probably. Third in the standings, third most wins, third everything, Brad Keselowski. Keselowski's season this year so far, it has been good. Pretty dang good, but it has not been to the level of Hamlin and Harvick, but it has also not been bad, or really close to bad. It's actually been a decent to it's pretty good year for them. They have 3 wins at Charlotte, Bristol, and New Hampshire, and I think that is a slight advantage for them. They have 2 wins in that 750 package, which is what we will run at the championship race, whereas Hamlin and Harvick only have 1. But yeah, 1 each. You know, they just won this past weekend. You guys remember that. But anyways, before we get into that, more stuff about that. Option number 2 at a background, I guess. I kind of like it, actually. You just put some hats in the background. You see right there, you got the M&M. You can't really see it, but M&M's. Beautiful. Delicious. Anyways, this is another option, I guess, for the background. As for the lighting, Still figuring that out. When I wave my arm over here, it kind of gets really bright. I try to do the little focus thing on this and to shade it, but if it's a problem, I'll figure it out somehow in the future. Still figuring out a setup in here. This is better than the other one, in my opinion. Brad Keselowski. Anyways, as I said, 3 wins on the year, 9 top 5s, 18 top 10s. Currently sits third in the playoff points. He has 29 playoff points as of now. That's with regular season points, his wins, stage wins, all that stuff. As I said, a good year. It hasn't been like an elite, out of this world year like Harvick and Hamlin are having, but it hasn't been a bad year where he doesn't have any wins, and it hasn't been like a decent year where he only has 1 win or something like some of these other guys, but it's been a good, solid year. They got multiple wins. They got some playoff points. They got an advantage over other guys. I think that is an advantage that they could look at. And Keselowski is a past champion, which I think could play to his advantage. It was a different format back before we had the whole playoff elimination. You could win 35 out of the 36 races and still lose the championship system. But yeah, looking at the playoff schedule for Keselowski, I'd say that first round is, like I said, I think it was for Hamlin. This first round is very favorable to Keselowski. You look at Darlington, where he just won a couple of years ago. Richmond, where he's got a couple wins at. And then also Bristol. He won that race earlier this year. Led over 100 laps or something. Was able to take advantage of Elliott and Logano crashing. And went on to win the race. So that is a very favorable first round. I don't see any problems there. Just like the first 2 guys. I don't see him missing the first cut. Second round, this is not as favorable, but if he can just run decent, I think he's got enough playoff points and he can gain some more, he'll be fine. Las Vegas, he's won out a couple times. I'd say that is his best. That's second best track in this round. Next up is Talladega, his best track. He has 5 or 6 wins there, but it is Talladega, so you cannot predict what's going to happen. You could be involved in a wreck like he was last year. You could blow an engine from overheating. Anything can happen at Talladega, so don't bet that you're going to win at Talladega. That is not the smartest thing to do. And then you got the Charlotte Roval. Keselowski's never won on a road course, so I'd say that's his weakest race in that streak. But I'd say if he could get a win at Las Vegas, obviously that would be great. But top 10s, top 5 stage points in those first 2 races, he should be fine for the Roval. Looking at the round of 8, another good round for Keselowski, I would say. If he can get here, he has a really good shot at the championship in my opinion. Kansas, where he won here last year with a 550 package. Texas, he has not yet won. That would definitely be his weakest link. And then Martinsville, a track that he has won at a couple times in his career. So if he can run up front, run good at Kansas, he's going to have a little bit of a tighter points gap. It's not like Harvick and Hamlin. They have like a 20 to 30 point cut advantage over the next guys on them, like Keselowski, Elliott, Logano. Keselowski only has a 6 or 7 point lead on those guys, so it's going to be a close points race. So I think he's really going to have to take advantage of Kansas. Use that to his advantage, get some stage points at Texas, obviously. And then I think at Martinsville could be chaotic. I don't know, but yeah, I think that's going to be a tough round for him just because he doesn't have enough playoff points. He's really going to have to gain some playoff points if he wants to advance past that round, or at least make it less stressful. Obviously, winning gets you in, but, you know, let's say he has to point his way in. Those extra playoff points could be very beneficial. And you look at how they've done with the 750 package. They got a couple of wins. They've had a lot of laps led. So Martinsville could end up being a big race for them. Big advantage that they have over everyone else. And let's say they do advance and go to Phoenix. I am not sure if Keselowski has any wins at Phoenix, but I do know this. You look at some of these guys, how they've done this year. Harvick and Hamlin specifically, those are the two favorites, I'd say for sure. They only got one win at a 750 horsepower track. Hamlin was leading right at Bristol and hit the wall. Harvick, can't really think of anything else. I think he did really good at Phoenix, but it's one race for the championship. Keselowski's done really good at these 750 tracks. You look at the other mile track that runs the 750, that's a flat track, New Hampshire. Keselowski dominated that race. So if you look at that, if Keselowski shows up with the same car they ran at New Hampshire and they have the same dominant car, he could very well win the championship. So I think that's something to look forward to. But in conclusion, first round he'll get out of easy. Second round could be a little bit challenging if he gets caught up in something at Talladega. But Las Vegas and Talladega are really good tracks for him, so I think he'll get out of that round too. As for the round of 8, he's not going to have a big points gap like Hamlin and Harvick, so a win would obviously get him in, but I think he's going to have to rely on, if he can't win, getting a ton of stage points, finishing in the top 5, top 10 to beat some of his competitors that are close, like Elliott, Logano, Truex, etc. And then finally, for the final race, they got a win on a flat 1 mile track this year. If they bring that same car or they figure it out again and they dominate that race, they win the championship. So there you have it. Yeah, Brad Keselowski, why he'll win the championship, 2020 championship. We'll move on to Chase Elliott tomorrow, and then after that it'll be Joey Logano, so look out for that. Any other big news that I miss, or not miss, but that I catch, I will talk about on here, but I don't know. I like this setup right here, so it might stay for a bit. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Make sure like, subscribe, share. I can't control the background noise.